Shield. And in 1972, we were founded. By the way, I like to say, Legal Shield established in 1972. I was also established in 1972. So, great things established in 1972. We protect and empower approximately 4.4 million lives all across North America. And so, we have a company that's been around 52 years, 4.4 million users all across North America, and our vision is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. How many believe that's a great vision that we can? Not taking too long this morning, a couple of slides I'm going to go through a little quicker, and I just want to just quickly point out on this slide that the same way that Amazon changed the way that you shop for goods, and the same way that companies like Spotify changed the way that you listen to music or you purchase music, Legal Shield has changed the way that people access the legal system. Before Amazon, when you needed to buy something, you had to physically go to the store, you had to purchase things like that. The other day I was cleaning my boat, and I'm like, I'm out of boat soap. I get on my phone, order some boat soap, put the cell phone back in the pocket, keep on cleaning, and the next day the boat soap ends up on my front porch, right? Like, Amazon changed the way that we shop. Spotify changes the way we listen to music. I remember telling my two boys, I'll never subscribe to one of those things. That's crazy. Why would you pay monthly to listen to music? I have all my CDs right here. How would I pay monthly? That's crazy to me, right? And now I pay like 3 different music subscribers on a monthly basis to get all my different music, right? Legal Shield, in the same way, when you need access to the legal system, and instead of trying to figure out how are you going to talk to an attorney that's $300 an hour, who are you going to find, who are you going to call, you can literally tap that black button there in the middle, so request a consultation, and be immediately connected with your provider law firm. Yes. So that you can immediately be talking to your attorney about a lot of different areas. For example, how many in this room have just been treated unfairly by somebody? Anyone ever find yourself saying, like, I'm going to talk to your supervisor, right? So these are all legal situations. Now, a lot of times we don't think of them as legal situations because when it's $300 an hour, we think legal situations are like when people are going through a divorce or they're going through a bankruptcy or it's a criminal situation. Like, in our mind, that's when people really need an attorney. But I will tell you this, people that have money don't think like that. People that come from families who have generational wealth, they know that having attorneys help them make better decisions on an ongoing, regular basis is just a much smarter way to be because all these different rules are written by attorneys. And so to have your own attorney where you can talk to someone and say, hey, my landlord's keeping my security deposit. How do I get the security deposit back, right? I don't know what the laws in North Carolina or South Carolina are when it comes to real estate law, but my real estate attorney does. Or when you're having a warranty issue and you're fighting with this company because you purchased this thing and you're trying to get them to replace it under warranty and they're telling you why it can't be replaced under warranty. I don't know what consumer laws are here, but my attorney knows what the consumer laws are here. So it's that legal muscle of being able to contact your attorney about an unlimited number of topics. So maybe something happened at work and you have questions. Maybe something happened to your kids at school. Maybe you're dealing with a real estate transaction. You're renting an apartment. You're buying a house. You're refinancing a house. Maybe you're the tenant. Maybe you're the landlord, right? There's all kinds of different sides to this. That be able to pick up the phone and talk to an attorney and get consultation on a legal matter, on an unlimited number of topics. We also will review your contracts and documents for you. How many would agree if an attorney reviews the contract or document for you, they're probably going to understand better than you or I are going to understand, right? By the way, who wrote the contract? Attorneys, right? And they have their own language that you're not supposed to understand. That's why they make sure that you don't understand it, so you have to hire another attorney to decipher it for you, right? It's like when the doctor gives you a prescription, you're like, I don't know what this means? So it looks like you just made a backwards C on this piece of paper. They have their own language, right? And so having your attorney review your contracts, review your documents. The small island I live on my main home, Southwest Florida, 2 years ago, was affected greatly by Hurricane Ian. It was a guy in the storm, category 4. It was 1 mile an hour under category 5. If it was category 5, they would have had to waive all the deductibles in the state. Just saying. All right, so anyway, 1 mile an hour under category 5. But it was one of the strongest storms we've had in this country. And the eye came over the island, and all of a sudden I had a homeowner's claim that I had to file. And I'd never dealt with this before, so I contacted my attorney, and they reviewed my insurance papers for me, went through my entire insurance documents, told me what I had coming, what I should do, the questions I should be asking, things like that. So having an attorney that can review your contracts, review your documents, makes a lot of sense. If you're buying an apartment, renting an apartment or buying a car, all those things. We also write letters and make phone calls on your behalf. Understand that when an attorney writes a letter, makes a phone call for you, there's just more legal muscle behind it than when you or I try to write that on our own. Right? That's right. And I always like to tell the story. A few years back, I was taking the family to Hawaii on vacation to Maui, and there were 4 of us, and we spent about $4,000 for these tickets, about $1,000 a piece to fly from Florida to Maui. And we got stuck at the Las Vegas airport for an entire day because of a mechanical issue on the plane. So the plane that was supposed to take us from Vegas to Maui, they pulled out of service because of a mechanical issue. And so it wasn't weather related. I've been on plenty of weather delays this week. I've flown 3 flights this week. They've all been delayed. So I understand weather delays. But this particular time, it was a mechanical issue. I'm like, well, that's your fault, not my fault. I paid you $4,000 to get me to Maui. They got me in a day late. I missed an excursion, missed a day of our trip, all these things. So I contacted the airline and said, hey, I really feel you should do something for me, compensate me in some way. And I'll just give you a summary of what they said. Basically, we're sorry it happened. Please fly us again. We'll do better next time. It was longer than that, but that's basically what they said. All right, they weren't going to do anything for me, is the bottom line. And so I sent all the information to my provider law firm, called them. They fired off 1 certified letter to the airline. I paid the law firm $8 to get it there certified, and they fired off 1 certified letter to the airline. And 11 days later, I got an apology letter from the airline, apologizing for the misunderstanding of our phone call, and that they were going to send me 4 free tickets to use anywhere in North America. And you better believe I used those to go from like Florida to California. I didn't use them to go from like Florida to Atlanta. So I got maximum value out of these 4 tickets. So I got about $2,000 worth of airline tickets, which paid my membership for over 8 years, all because my attorney wrote that letter on my behalf. All right, so it makes a big difference. We also do your wills, your living wills, and your health. Recently went in for a medical procedure. That wasn't major, but it wasn't one of those outpatient surgery little things. And they right away in the office, they're handing her all these documents. We need you to fill all this out for a power attorney. We need to fill all this out for a medical director. We need to fill all this out. And she's like, I don't need to fill any of that stuff out. She pulled it out of her bag because she already had it all done because she's a member of Legal Shield. Here you go, already done, already notarized. Here's your copies. And the majority of people, when do they fill this stuff out? When they're in a hospital. They're under duress. It's not the time you want to be making those kind of decisions. You want to make those decisions when you're not under duress, when you have time to talk about it with your loved ones or with your spouse or whoever it is. At the right time, have it all done, because you just never know when you're going to need those things, even for like a minor, it was just an little eye thing that she had to go in for, outpatient, but you still need to have all those documents in place. That's all included in your membership at no additional cost. Traffic representation. I won't ask you if you have received a traffic ticket. I will just ask, has anyone in this room ever deserved a traffic ticket? Come on, half of you are alive. Come on now. Come on.
I was busy.
I just drove from the Charlotte airport to here yesterday, and you all deserve traffic tickets, all right? I'll tell you that right now, all right? So, now, the great thing about our service is you're covered nationwide. Right? Everyone say nationwide.
Nationwide.
People say like, oh, I have a brother that's an attorney in town. Well, your brother's not going to help you in California if you get a traffic ticket in California, right? My oldest son lives in Wisconsin. Both of my boys live in Wisconsin. And our oldest son, that's what happens when you're raised in Florida. Like if you were raised in Wisconsin, you'd be like, I can't wait till I move to Florida. You're raised in Florida, like I need to go to Wisconsin, right? So anyway, so whatever you were raised, you think the other is going to be better, right? So, but our oldest son's in Wisconsin, and he came down to visit down in the Florida Keys for 4th of July week, and just nonchalantly, he was like, hey, Dad, he's 27 now. He's like, hey, Dad, remind me, if hypothetically I needed to use my Legal Shield plan for a traffic ticket, how would I enter that in the app again? So, right now, Legal Shield's helping to defend him on a moving traffic violation that he received down in near Madison, Wisconsin. So, but you're covered on a nationwide basis. That's included 100% to have an attorney help you with those types of situations, including our membership. And then everything that you see listed here, right? Even things I didn't talk about, but if you see it listed there, that's included in our membership at no additional cost, including accessing your attorney 24/7 for emergency reasons. You know, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and you want to have access to your attorney right away. And on top of that, anything you don't see listed here that you still need help with, we're going to help you under our 25% preferred member discount. And we're going to do all of that for less than $1 a day, $29.95. Entire family, you, your spouse, any of your children up to 26 going to college, 26 living at home. There was a time in my life, they're both grown now, but there was a time in my life where both of my boys were in college at the same time. One was at Florida State, one was at Notre Dame, and both of our boys one was in South Bend, Indiana, one was in Tallahassee. We were in South Florida, and our whole family was. Identity theft today is I don't really have to talk about identity theft like people don't know what it is. Everyone's heard about it, everyone's seen it. Matter of fact, 10 years ago when you were a victim of identity theft, companies would send you a big letter in the mail. It was a big deal. We're so sorry. We don't know how it happened, but we got compromised and we lost your information and all this stuff, and we're going to give you this and give you that. Now they just send you an email. So, by the way, we lost your information. So it's like they don't even take your time. Like they don't even care that much anymore. It happened again. So, but don't worry, it happened to 12 million other people. So that should make you feel better, right? So, but we monitor everything that matters. We monitor your social security number, your credit score, your passport, your driver's license, the court records, email, driver's license. We monitor every area of your life that matters so that if you're a victim of identity theft, you know it. If there's a court record out in your name, you get notified. If someone tries to change your address with the U.S. Postal Service, we tell you. Now, if it was you, you're moving, great. But if it wasn't you, you're notified. And then we're also going to monitor your social media reputation score because you need to know what's going. You know, you might have something on your social media account you forgot was there, but guess what? Other people are seeing it. Your future employers are seeing it. Other people that are checking you out are seeing it. So we're going to give you that score and give you the option if you want to remove some of those things as well. But the big thing is this. If you're a victim of identity theft, we're going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity to its pre-theft status. And that includes a $1 million identity protection plan, so that you know that if you're a victim of identity theft, we've got your back to make sure that you have full restoration benefit. So we're really excited. Actually, we're really excited about the things that we do out in the field. You know, it's kind of funny, when we first came up with our plan, we had unlimited service guarantee. And people would say, how much is that though? I'm like, it's unlimited. And they're like, yeah, but this other company says $1 million. Do you do $1 million? I'm like, well, last time I checked, unlimited is more than $1 million. And they're like, but is it $1 million? I'm like, okay. So we said $3 million protection plan. That way, there's no questions, all right? So people can wrap their mind around a number. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity to its pre-theft status. We just have some additional services that are part of this as well. We have our password manager, we have our VPN. So these are things that you may be already using with other vendors, but they're included in your ID Shield. But one other thing I love to point out in ID Shield is our privacy management. We have a new privacy partner that provides our privacy management. And if you're a member of ID Shield in this room already, I would highly recommend that you go back in and you look at this if you haven't looked at it in the last month, and go through the steps. I did that recently with our new, in my case, that were databases all across, sharing my information, that I was able with just a couple clicks, they're no longer sharing my information on these public databases. And so go into ID Shield, check out the privacy management. I think you're going to be amazed at how fast you can shut down some of those databases for being able to have access to your information to share with other people. Our ID Shield plan, again, covers your entire family. And we do that, the ID Shield, $19.95 per month for an individual, $34.95 per month for a family. So if you're single, not married, your individual plan, $19.95. If you're a family, $34.95 to have that coverage. By the way, as a member of any of our memberships, you also have access to member perks, which gives you discounts at some of the best known companies all across North America. I live in Florida, so there's a lot of theme parks on here, but my family came to visit. My brother came with his kids a few years back, and they wanted to go to Busch Gardens for the day. And so I went to Busch Gardens' website. It was $109 per day for a ticket. And so I said, I wonder if Busch Gardens is on member perks. So I go to member perks, and a one-day pass on member perks was $59. Wow. And so I said, I'm going to go member. So I say $50 a ticket times 8 tickets. I say $400 just by using member perks at Busch Gardens. And so, I mean, that was more than I paid for my legal plan for the entire year, right? So make sure you check out the discounts on member perks. Let me take the last 10 minutes and just talk about the opportunity. How does this opportunity work? How are you able to generate income using all the things we just talked about with this incredible opportunity? And you're able to generate income 4 different ways. When you enroll a member, you get paid. You can build a team all across North America, and every time there's memberships enrolled by your team, you can earn overrides. You get paid for the lifetime of the membership. Every year it stays on the books forever. And any of your overrides that you receive, you get paid a residual for the lifetime of those overrides as well. So when a member is active from someone on your team, the person that wrote the membership gets paid for the lifetime of the membership, but the overrides also get paid as a residual for the lifetime of the membership. And we have an incredible bonus program that pays bonuses for lots of different ways. So let's take a look first briefly at our compensation plan, and you'll see this middle column. And this middle column simply represents the money that you earn when you personally enroll a membership. So in this example, this is the 6495 plan, 6490 plan. This is the legal plan plus the family ID shield plan we just talked about. And when you first enroll that plan as an associate, you're going to earn $70. At senior associate, it goes to 90, then 120, then 60, and at the director level, $220 when you personally enroll that one membership. Now I'm going to stop at director for a second, because one of the things I like about this business is that all the way to director, you can never fall back. So it's a permanent level advance. So like once you're a director, you're always a director or higher in the company. Like once you're a manager, you're never going to get paid an associate or senior associate again. So every level advancement to director is a permanent level advancement. So you're earning between 70 and 370, and there's actually some levels above that when you personally enroll membership. Now that's actually what got me started. I looked at this back when I was getting started. I said, I want to make an extra $500 per month, and I knew if I just enrolled 4 memberships per month at one of our beginning levels, manager level, I could do that on my own by just going out and sharing this with 4 members on a monthly basis. But the second way we get paid is through overrides. So as I started earning extra $500 per month, other people said, I want to earn an extra $500 per month. So I started building a team, and then I was earning overrides. The overrides are just the difference between where you are and where the membership was sold. So if you're a senior manager making $160, and you have someone on your team who's a manager making $120, the difference is $40. If you're a director, $220, and you have a manager on your team make a membership sale, the difference is $100 per membership sale. So let's say, for example, you were just making $50 as an override of every membership coming from your team, and your team enrolled 10 memberships this month. Well, now you're making money on when you personally enroll memberships, but you're also making an additional $500 in overrides. But you determine how many memberships you want to build a team of, right? So if you have a team that's doing 10 memberships per month, you know, maybe an extra $500 per month. What if your team was doing 10 memberships a week? What if your team was doing 10 memberships a day, right? You know, so you can build as big a team. You know, my team last month wrote about 4,000 memberships. And the great thing about this business is that even though I became president of the company, nobody on my team quit and said, "Well, Don's president now. I guess we're all retired, right?" Like, you know. So guess what? I've been able to have my corporate role here, and my team still goes out and does it because they're doing it for their own reasons, and it still generates a lot of income and overrides for our family. Because of that. So we're able to have that business continue to build and grow and flourish as a result of this business. So you get paid on your personal income, you get paid overrides, and then as I mentioned, you get a portion of this. Year 2, 20% of this, and then year 3, 4, 5, 6, and beyond, 10% every year for the lifetime of the membership. You continue to get paid residual income on that business. Now, you may understand this example in Charlotte, you know, because I don't know how much snow you really have here. All right, not that much, right? They understood it in Maryland. They definitely don't understand it in Florida. All right, so, I call it, if you ever build a snowman, if you ever you start with this little tiny snowball, and you're going, it seems like it takes forever to get this big, but then all of a sudden it gets exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, guess what? That's how your income and legal shield goes. Because year 1, you're getting paid on all the business you wrote year one. Your team wrote, you wrote year one. But on year two, you're getting paid on all the business you wrote year two, new business, you and your team, but you're also starting to get residual income on year one. But by year 10, now you're getting all paid on all the new business you write that year, personal and overrides. But now you're getting residual income on year 9, 8, 7, 6. You're getting 9 years of residual income added to. So every year you're in Legal Shield, you're getting more and more of a pool of residual income that you keep getting paid year after year after year. Now, the fourth way we get paid is our bonuses. You'll see here, by the way, we have what's called a fast start bonus. When you become a senior associate in your first 20 days, $200 bonus right away. When you go manager in your first 45 days, a $500 bonus. We have some great bonuses for people just getting started with us. And then we have a program called Performance Club, which we'll talk a lot about in the training. But Performance Club pays you bonuses for just doing a little bit of business on an ongoing, consistent basis. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And as you see, you might say, well, what does Performance Club bonuses have to do with a dolphin? This is how we take our trips, by the way. So through our Performance Club program, not only can you earn monthly bonuses of $200 a month, $300 a month, $500 a month, and beyond, but you also can qualify for the trips. And next week in Montego Bay, Jamaica, at one of the most beautiful resorts in Jamaica, we are taking 700 people with us to Montego Bay, Jamaica. I love to look at people's faces when I tell them that. Like, I'll just run into strangers. I'm like, oh yeah, and we do this incentive trip to Montego Bay in a couple of weeks. Oh, like, you take your top people to like Montego Bay, and like, yeah. And they said, how many people do you take? I said, we're taking 700. Because their companies take like 10, right? They're like top 10 go on these trips. Like, we're taking 350 couples with us to Montego Bay next year. So we take over the resorts. Like, you walk everywhere you go as a Legal Shield person, because we take over the resorts of these all-inclusive, beautiful resorts. And so we do that every single year. I'm going to talk about this during the training, so I'm not going to talk about it now, but I want to talk about this slide right here, because I only touched on one thing here today, or a couple things. I talked about ID Shield, I talked about Legal Shield, but understand we also have plans for small business owners. We have great solutions for our small business owners. We can offer this as an employee benefit to groups or companies. We have over 40,000 companies that offer this as an employee benefit. We have plans for commercial truck drivers. We have legal supplements for like, we have a gun owner supplement, a rideshare supplement for people that drive Uber or Grubhub, those kind of things. We have our home business supplement. So we have a lot of specialty plans for people that have specific legal needs with those different situations. So we talked about these 5 areas briefly. We talked about the company, 52-year-old company, 4.4 million users. We know there's a tremendous need. How many would agree that the need for legal services and access to your legal rights today is greater today than it's ever been before? Right? I mean, has the world become more complicated or less complicated in the last 20 years? Right? More complicated. Now, much of it is, to help us live a better life, but it's more complicated in many ways. And we want to make sure that you have access to your legal rights. And of course, our compensation plan and timing makes a ton of sense. So let me close with this. You can actually start as a part-time associate. You can work from anywhere, which is what I love about this business. It's willable, and we pay residual income for the lifetime of the membership. And one of the great things I hear over and over and over at every stop that I make is I love the fact that we focus on personal development. We focus on growth. We focus on helping you become better in all areas of your life, and that's where having a mentor that can help train you, work with you, and show you the way really comes. It makes a big, big difference. And right now, you can actually get started as a Legal Shield associate for $49. That's another thing I love, because I've been through things like this before, and you get to the end, you're like, that looks really good, and then it gets in there, and for only $9,995, you're like, you could have started with that. That would have been a short presentation, all right? So, but for $50, you have access to this business model where you can go out and create that income. When I think about the success that my wife and I have been able to create with our Legal Shield business, and we paid a one-time startup fee 29 years ago, $65 to get started. By the way, what's less expensive today than it was in 1996? I paid $65. You only have to pay